Oh, welcome to Sober in the States, the incredible show where we actually show up and talk about the MLS and the weekend that was on Sober. Alex, who needs the playoffs? Who needs to play in the MLS period when you have a chance to win a trophy in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup? LAFC historically loves losing. So, hey, Sporting Kansas City might get an easy one. Just kidding. They're just as bad. But hey, none of that nonsense because we have a special guest with us today. We have Daniel Cooper. You recognize his name. 100% doing all the things in the Sorare chat, keeping these streams alive one by one. You see him in every chat, always Sorare chat, all those fun things. So, Daniel, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I spend all my life basically around Sorare. As you say, I'm in every chat going. So I thought I might as well hop on a stream and talk about it for once.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's what we do. Like I always say, the door is always open here. And you know what? After a while, you get comfortable and you start hopping on the show. So, hey, you're here with us. You're always haggling us in the chat. And hey, Red or Dead here too. Red or Dead has no friends. This is going to backfire because all the chats right here on the show. So no one's going to be talking. I didn't really think about that. But hey, we're here. We're going to talk some MLS. It's been a weird couple of weeks. We've missed a couple shows, but we are here now. And that's all that matters. It was a crazy weekend. The playoffs are 4 games away. Miami might win the Supporters Shield. I hate to say it, but we're going to get into all that fun stuff. We're going to see what we can get into. Hey, are we going to degen into some buys this late in the season? Come on. Oh, yeah. That's what we're talking about. And you know why we're going to degen into some things? Because Daniel, not only did it work out perfectly that we had talked about bringing you on the show, but you just had an insane weekend on Sorare. So why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, I absolutely cooked for like the first time ever. I had 2 podiums. Considering the start of this MLS season, I'd never had a podium before. I've been playing Sorare for almost 2 years before that. I had two podiums. Sort of, I didn't play Sorare for about 2 months because life just got real busy at the start of the summer. And then I came back. The first week I got a podium. Coming back, Columbus cooked for me. And then about 2 weeks ago, I hit second. I was slow checking off those podium lists. I put in the Discord that I've only got the big one to go, and it took me 2 weeks to actually finally finish first in a competition. It was a Prem D4 Classic Limited that got me the first place with a score that was about 50 points less than my second place this week. I came second in Classic D1 with just a Liverpool Spurs split stack. It went perfectly. I was in the middle of work. I wasn't being able to watch any of it. I just had my Sorare data notifications going off, and I was about halfway through the game. Liverpool were already 3-0 up. We were cooking away. Salah had his assist. Trent had his assist. And then I was just praying for a Maddison to Son combination. And then I get the notification. Maddison scores. Son assist.
Yeah.
I was punching there. To my disappointment, I looked at the leaderboard. I was second by 0.4 points. Somebody had the exact same lineup as me. I had 2 guys with better XP. He had 3 guys with better XP. He beat me by, I think it was 0.41 after all the Opta changes. But, you know, I'm not going to complain. I got $250 and a Vicario from that. And then on my first place in D4, I got an Onana. So that kind of completes my Man United stack. I was going to buy Onana anyway, just because United got great fixtures coming up. Bruno's going to cook. Hopefully, someone like that will still put up good scores. And then, you know, Onana is one of those goalkeepers that can put up 100. I like those sort of goalkeepers. I like goalkeepers who can make good shot stoppers, really good. Like, they actually have a lot to do. Like, United are terrible defensively for the most part, which is great because it gives Onana a ton to do. Like, I have an Edison, but I hate having an Edison because he will put up 5 AA and concede from the first shot he faces almost every game because he's massively overrated as an actual goalkeeper. But that might be my small hate for City coming through, and my love for Alisson. But I've got a lot of cash to spend now, so I was a little disappointed with the Vicario pull because Jimmer, who we all know and love from our Discord, he got an in-season Saka in the place behind me, and
that hurts.
Today went for $100 more than Vicario went for. was a little painful, but hey, I won about $400 worth of stuff today, so I'm not mad. We might have to go and spend some of that money. I've already spent some of that money. I don't know if I can share my screen somehow. I'm not.
Yeah. So if you look down at the bottom, there should be like a present thing.
Oh yeah.
Present square. You should be able to pick your window, your tab, and you should be able to share whatever screen you need to.
Okay.
That $400 day on Sorare, man, that's huge. Like I get excited when I win $20. I'm like, yo, like, hey, I won $30 at the midweek. I'm hyped. You're over here podiuming, hitting the podiums, getting them $350. How much was it?
$250 cash and about $150 worth of prizes that I'm probably going to sell, plus the Onana that I'm going to keep. So, probably like it might be like $500 total this week. So
what did you buy already? I can pull this up.
Is that my screen right there? That is my screen.
Yeah, I have your screen pulled up.
I also crafted like a few, like 5 essence crafts today. I got the same guy twice somehow. This Philogene guy. Which was weird. I was happy to get him first time because I've got some Villa cards already, and as you can see, I went and bought Tielemans because he's been kind of a beast this season so far, and I wanted him anyway. I've got an undying love for Emi Martinez, who I bought like last week. Right down here, I've just been going through some teams and picking up some good players from the Prem because I want to do well in Prem in season this year. So I've got Tielemans. I've got a bid on Trent right now, so no one go and bid on that Trent. Just leave it for me. I bid way more than he's actually worth, so just don't bid me up. You can bid me up. That's fine. And then I will eventually might not quite have enough money after Vicario sales. But I will probably end up going and getting an Alisson in season. I've got some Liverpool cards, and I'm a Liverpool fan. Actually, I support like 3 different teams. Which is
because it's so rare, obviously.
Partly because it's so rare, but to be fair, the 3 main teams that I support are for just normal life stuff. Like I support Coventry City, who are in the Championship in England, because I grew up near Coventry. My dad's a Coventry fan. I support Liverpool because my older brother decided he liked Michael Owen when he was a kid. So I just copied my older brother, being a Liverpool fan since. And then when I moved to America, for some reason, I started watching the MLS and I started liking Seattle. And then I just followed Seattle ever since. I've got an undying love for Nuhu. I love him.
You have to. You just have to.
He's just so fun to watch. He's an absolute madman. He doesn't make any sense anything that he does, and he can't score a goal to save his life. But it's quite fun. So
he's got that dog in him.
Exactly, he's got that dog in him. I just love it when he puts his head down and runs dead straight for about half an hour, and he doesn't look up, and he kicks the ball about 50 yards ahead of him with the world's biggest touches, and then he's about 5 miles out of position, and Jackson Reagan's got to come back and cover him. But he's been sucking on Sorare this year, so that's kind of sad. He was kind of good the last season before that. At least
he was. He used to be a Sorare darling back in the day, like a few years ago. Like knew who was the guy you wanted to have. So it's fun the way it is. Just real quick, Red or Dead won a Scov Olsen from D2 Challengers and a Larice from a Rivals box. There you go.
That's nice.
Not that anybody hates Rivals anymore because Rivals is so fun with everything, but dude, great Rivals win. Yo, Deke in the chat, congrats on the win, Daniel.
Hey Deke, I've got to give Deke a big shout out because all of my MLS success is probably down to Deke telling me who's going to be in lineups or not. Like I've had 3 MLS podiums now, and I'll be honest, all I do before a game week is look at what Deke's put on prediction things and just go with it. And I love him for it.
The work that he puts in for the Sorare community, specifically MLS, is just way too much, man. We would all be lost without him. And yes, Red or Dead shares that sentiment that he loves Seattle. ZM Star popping in. Look at that. Look, the gang is all here. Look at that. And Boston Sean in here too. Greetings. Rest in peace, Boston Sean and Carlos Hill. But hey, Bruce Arena to San Jose, maybe? Hello. That's making the rounds. Justice for Bruce Arena, man.
It's been too long. We
He
need him
needs
in the
to
league.
he needs to go out with an actual like shebang and not the way he was treated at Gillette, because that sucks. But
But do we actually have any hope for San Jose being good at any point, or because I don't?
No, Abobasi's I read an article about Abobasi, and he had an interview, and he was basically saying like, no, we've lost hope. None of us know if we're going to be here next year or not. Even I don't know if I'm going to be here next year. The vibes are very low there. So unless they start bringing in some guys, I still think Hernan Lopez is super underrated at this point. But they need some pieces, and a coach would probably be the best start. And so if they get Arena, who knows? Who knows?
yeah, but not like that organization's going to give him any money to work with anyway. But
No
Bruce is
chance.
kind of used to that, actually. So, hey, there you go. It's something he's used to. But yes, let's talk about some MLS. Congratulations to Daniel for the big win. And thanks for coming to celebrate it with us. Wasn't the plan, but it just worked out perfectly.
I hit you up like a week ago. It's like, I've got to get on a stream sometime. And then yesterday, somebody didn't show up on time. And then he was like, yeah, come on. And I was playing golf, so I couldn't yesterday. But today, I didn't have much to do. So here I am.
It's so funny that like they can't show up on a normal day, but I'm like, hey, I have Daniel Cooper. He was like, I'll be there. He just immediately schedule just opened up. It is what it is. It's a celebration. We're all happy you're here.
I'm here for the party.
Yeah, dude, here for the actual party, here for everyone, for what everyone wants to see and do. So should we hop into the games from the weekend, or should we preview these fancy fun games that we have tomorrow? There are 3 trophies on the line this week in Major League Soccer. There's Campeones Cup, Columbus Crew taking on Club America. They have some revenge with some Mexican teams because the last one just didn't go well for them. Their stomachs were gurgling. We also have the Open Cup, Alex, Sporting Kansas City. Basically a given since LAFC just decides never to show up for finals. They have the chance to lose their 6th final in a row. Yeah. Yikes. And then we have the one championship that shall not be named up in the north. The Canadian Championship. Toronto FC taking on Vancouver. The John Herdmans have a chance to bring home a trophy, regardless of their performance in MLS.
So this is a real championship. Who needs Campeones Cup? We got the Canadian Championship going on.
Yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be there. Not there in real life, but in spirit. I'll be there. I'll be watching sport, and I will not be paying attention. But
I was quite happy that Vancouver's there because they rotated a little bit against Galaxy, and then Puig and Peck smashed. So it's always helpful when people are rotating. Just for us, I'm sure.
I want a big $8 from that Puig and Peck smash. Let's go. 32nd place. Let's go.
I don't want to talk about that Peck smash. I did captain him, but didn't go great.
For some reason, I didn't captain Peck. I always go Puig. I can't get myself to not captain Puig, but then it was going really well. I had Hartel, Wagner, and Patrick Schulte in goal for a big 1.8. He got opted up for 1.8.
He did.
That's huge. That's huge. There you go.
Yeah, I literally went to sleep with a 0, and I woke up and I was like, hey, there's 1 point. We're here. Mom, we've made it. Yeah, most of my gallery consists of a lot of Columbus and Orlando City, so I was not stoked this weekend. One way or the other, it just didn't go well for me. Yes. Of course, Thomas is here because we said CPL. There is the CPL.
Get him in here.
And yeah, dude, the Open Cup final and St. Louis rivalry on the weekend. What a time to be alive, Alex.
No, we're talking tomorrow. Yeah, cool. And then the weekend.
Yeah.
It's fine. You know what? It's fine. We'll do good. I'm sure Hartel will definitely not smash it. It's fine. And I don't have him captain in a lineup with Messi. That's fine.
If you lose the Open Cup, but you still beat St. Louis at the weekend, are you still content?
I mean, yeah, obviously. But I think in order, I'd rather win the Open Cup. And get completely, I'd get completely obliterated by St. Louis and win the Open Cup, 5-0. That's a record breaking, or that's a record tying one. Bethlehem Steel's always been number 1 for a long time. 1910s we're talking about. And so yeah, I've been there for every Open Cup that we've had since I've been alive, and now I won't be able to go because LA is just not a fun place to be unless you're there for a while, but Spain one night isn't worth it. So I'll be watching from the comfort of my home, yelling at the TV like probably a lot of Kansas City fans will be. But you know what? I wasn't confident, but just like thinking about the fact that LAFC genuinely sucks in finals, like a lot,
Shit.
and they just got smashed by their rivals, so their vibes are very low. Did they play this weekend?
Yeah,
They
they
did.
got smashed by FC Dallas.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
They did rotate, but
Oh yeah, they like got everybody. They got Hasal minutes, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean,
But yeah, I mean like Buanga hasn't been as good as he had been at the beginning of the year. They're not keeping as many clean sheets as they used to. Giroud isn't scoring any goals, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting for sure. Hopefully, everybody in chat, I've coaxed enough just to support Sporting for one night. You know, it's you don't want to see LAFC win. Who wants to see LAFC win? Especially if your lineups don't matter. Yeah, come on, one game. That's all I ask.
Well, Daniel, you're on the West Coast. You have the insights. You have the knowledge. You probably watch a lot of LAFC. While on the East Coast, we're falling asleep. Well, do you think they have a chance, or are they just going to blow this one too?
Given history, I'm sure they're going to blow it. But if they vaguely turn up, I think there's a slight chance they win 3 or 4-0. So, sorry, Alex. But you know, you still got your hope that final LAFC turn up, and there's a decent chance in that because the team hasn't changed too much. Maybe somebody like Giroud turn up clutch for them, but I don't know. You guys got a chance, but you guys also managed to lose to Minnesota at the weekend after dominating almost the entire game. So
we rotated. It's fine. We didn't really rotate. I don't know why I said that.
And they blew the lead against LA Galaxy too. If you guys remember, they dominated the first half of El Trafico, and then they just decided not to play the second half.
Sorry, that game was insane. I will say that we were watching that after the Atlanta game. Genuinely insane.
Which shout out to Sorare and MLS for bringing a bunch of people together. That was the first time, like we all got together. Thomas was there, and we all watched El Trafico together in the suite after the game, and it was like watching it, like we're all sweating lineups, like we're watching this game. And just as crazy as that game was, it just shows you that going out and watching like a match of football with like a bunch of people that also are really heavily invested in it, it's like no other. And like coming on here and talking to people here about Sorare and the Major League Soccer, it's always a good time. Sorare is more than a game. That's my new slogan. That's what I'm pushing. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. It is more than a game indeed. It's the relationships we build along the way. And then there's a Boston Sean who isn't happy with the Revs, but also took the dagger with the newly acquired Rodri. Boston Sean, you hate to see it. I'm sorry to hear it. But hey, you have one of the mostly sought after cards a year from now. So there's that to look forward to. A year from now, the Rodri Rise will be back.
You know what they say? Buy the dip.
Hey.
Buy 2 more Rodris. Buy 3 more for the price that you bought one with. So then now you have 4. Because they will go up. It's just going to take a while. But if you're patient, he'll probably be out until next season. He's out for the season. Yeah. But like,
you have something to look forward to a year from now. And in perfect fashion, the people that are on your TV screen right now, the YouTubers are in your ears on the podcast, you know we were all looking at the Rodri price before we went live.
And they have calendar utility. Remember, they'll be playing Coventry week 1, so make sure that you have that ready. Daniel will be at the game. He'll be there for Rodri's re-debut.
I'll be there after we get promoted. City won't get relegated because they have everyone in the back pockets. But hopefully we can finally get promoted after losing in playoff finals on penalties and things like that. It's been a painful couple of years.
You need to get Jokeris and Hamer back, and I think that'll be.
I mean, Jokeris is never coming back. He's way too good. Like he should be at Arsenal or someone like that.
I think Chelsea and PSG are after him right now.
I could see him doing really well for PSG. I hope he doesn't go to Chelsea. 1, because I hate Chelsea, but 2.
Whoa! This is a Chelsea show. What are we doing? What are we doing?
No chance.
We want Jokeris at Chelsea. We need our 7th striker.
You guys don't need more players. You guys have 5,000 players already. You already spent $2 billion or something stupid. So
Everyone's mad because we have 5,000 players and we're actually good
And
again.
guess what
so,
happened? You win 5-0 against Borough, all right? You know, that's
There
what
you
happens
go.
when you win. That's a huge win.
That's the
We
reason
started-
you pay a lot of money for Christopher Nkunku is so he can score hat tricks against Barrow.
Our second team is actually kind of insane. Looking at it, it's kind
It
of
is.
wild how
Yeah.
many people we have.
Yeah.
Hey,
it's like
we're getting the
Sorare,
lead
man.
now,
Someone
though.
goes down, you just fill it in with some other degen.
Exactly. Maresca literally just bought the collection. That's all he did. He just bought the collection.
Got the.
I do want to say about buying the dip. The best ever trade I made on Sorare was Neymar got injured about 2 months after Limiteds got released.
Ooh.
He initially was going for like $1,500, stuff like that. He dropped down to, I bought one for $574, a limited Neymar. Didn't play. I sold him when he came back for almost $1,400. That was a
Let's
nice
go.
He was just injured.
Now
I was like, he'll go up.
Yeah.
Now
Fire
he's
Rogers, they'll
streaming.
go up.
Now he's streaming on Twitch or whatever instead of playing.
Now he's in Saudi Arabia.
He's like us. He's like us.
Exactly. He
See?
just saw us and he was like, I want to be like those guys.
You know, it's hard being us sometimes, you know?
Mhm.
And yeah, everyone's Rogers will be level 20 by the time he's back, so it's fine. And hey, we got more Liverpool
Exactly.
haters out here.
Thank you. I distinctly remember a game in probably like 2008 or something. And there was a Liverpool player holding the ball in the corner in the last few minutes, and a Chelsea player just went and put his studs in the back in his back, kicked him through the corner flag, and the ref did nothing.
Yeah, that's the ref. I didn't see anything.
The ref was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why you're rolling on the floor.
Had to tie his boots, man. Laces undone. Dude, what's with all the Chelsea hate today? It's all right. That's how I feel talking to ZM Star every week. I'm
Wait,
like the Miami fan. It's
Was
just like,
that
man.
was that at the corner flag? Is that when that happened?
Yeah, he was
That
like,
was that was Bosniago, right? I think.
yeah,
I forget who it was on, but I
think it was
remember
like
that.
Ben Ayoun or something for Liverpool. One of those guys.
Something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, I've always had a hatred for Chelsea, so that won't be going away. I probably hate Chelsea more than I hate Man United, which is impressive.
What about Everton?
Everton are so irrelevant that I just don't feel anything towards them. It's
Whoa.
That's how I
like-
feel about Atlanta these
Whoa.
days.
Big win on Saturday. I don't know.
big win.
Big win for them.
Leicester's another team that I really don't like. So, and that's purely through
Well,
cost.
Chelsea and Liverpool play each other in like 2 weeks, so
It'll be really
Ooh.
fun. to
these
see, like,
slot ball versus Maresca ball probably will be a good game.
It probably will. There'll probably be a lot. There could be a lot of goals in there.
But then we say that and it's 1-0.
The only thing I like for Chelsea is that Cole Palmer forward card is brilliant.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of forward love this year. I was like thoroughly shocked. Like usually we always complain that
Mm.
you know they get midfielder cards and they should be forwards, but yeah, this year it felt like we got the proper forward cards that we've all been begging for weeks, and it'll be a great time. Speaking of forward cards that are just going to get rotated and not do anything for you on Sorare, we have Columbus Crew taking on Club America this weekend. I think it's safe to agree that everybody just it's an easy chalked in for Columbus, right? They should be hosting their second trophy tomorrow. Yeah.
America's got Luis Malagón. I don't know what we're talking about. Yeah, it should be Columbus should win this. It should be pretty chalk because they rotated Cucho twice in 2 games and he still smashed off the bench in both. So it's like it doesn't just play Cucho. Like he's gonna play. Unless he's hurt, he's gonna play and he's gonna score or assist. It happens every time. But yeah, I mean 3-1 Columbus, my prediction. Medica will get some consolation goal at some point.
Yeah. We'll see. And America's awful right now in Liga MX. They're like mid to low table. They are not having a good time, Chief. Daniel, do you have Columbus winning this pretty easily?
Yeah, I see Kuchar on a pitch and I'm happy. So just that's most of it for me. And as you say, America hasn't been particularly good. So
No, they haven't. And then we also have the Canadian Champions Cup final at the end. Vancouver,
yeah.
Toronto. Listen, I've been down on Vancouver all year to the point where I think John Herman and Toronto actually have a chance to hoist the trophy tomorrow. I think it's a big game. Bernadeschi and Signé, they'll show up at the moment, maybe. I don't know. We'll see if their defense decides to show up, but I kind of have Toronto winning this one. hopefully the John Herdman belief is real. Daniel, what do you think about this game? Do you have an edge for one over the other, or are you just hoping for chaos and fun?
I've spent the last 2 years with Toronto collections and being bitterly disappointed time after time after time because they continue to suck, even though they have 2 great forwards. Well, SO5 great forwards. They're a bit childish and
In
don't
theory.
actually do much for the team. But I'm hoping for Ryan Gold to come on and completely wipe the floor with Toronto. And Toronto's defense is just so bad. They just concede. I feel sorry for Sean John. He's probably one of the busiest keepers in the league. Actually, I guess as a goalkeeper, you probably want that. It gives you something to do. But he's always conceding a bunch of goals just because he's got like 50 shots to save every game. So I'd probably see a 3-1 Vancouver.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Well, Brian White came back from that concussion and decided he wanted to score goals again. So, hey, maybe he knocks some wires into the right place. He's going to go on one of those heaters like he always does. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It could be a fun game, could not be. Yeah, I've just been so down on Vancouver. I just fail to see where they pull this one off. Because if it ain't Brian White or Gold, it ain't happening. And then, yeah, I guess Toronto's the same way with Insigne and Bernadeschi. So that'll be interesting. And then it's going to lead to more rotation nightmare at the weekend. Yay! But hopefully we'll get some fun games in the process, so it won't be that terrible. So be careful with all those players the upcoming weekend. I'm sure we'll do a preview show for the weekend, and we'll talk about it again. But rotation city, as things get hot, there are 4 games left in Major League Soccer. Some teams have 5, just added schedule congestion. Like I said earlier, Miami is trying to win the points record. They are 10 points away from breaking the record, and 4 games left, so they have to win those out completely. They probably won't. And yes, Patrick Vieira, rumored on his way to Atlanta United. They might have their coach. You will remember Patrick Vieira from NYCFC a couple years ago, right?
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. You know what that means, right? They're going to sign Guzan to a 10-year contract. He's been playing like he probably should get that. Not gonna lie.
So that Guzan Hundo, I swear, man. I meant to captain him. Y'all don't believe me, but that was the plan all along. But yeah. Oh, and there's rumors of Greg Berhalter to Chicago. I don't know if that's the news they want to hear after the seasons that they've been in, but hey, it's a coach.
He'll be fine in the MLS. It's 2 different leagues, an international and MLS. I wouldn't be too mad if I were a Chicago fan because he has experience. He's obviously not good experience, but like it's experience. If Sporting hired Berhalter, obviously I'd like burn all my jerseys, but I'd be like, okay, we might win a few more games. But so I mean, it's like, and he has pull. Like he knows a bunch of the good U.S. guys.
That's true. That's true.
You'll get someone decent U.S. international that just stops, that'll stop getting called up by Pochettino and get mad and want to move to the MLS or whatever. Also, I will say, I didn't say what I'm thinking for the Canadian Championship. Vancouver have the best front 3 in Canada. Fafa, Brian White, Gould. Fafa's been turning it up. You know that. Brian White's back from his concussion. That took him like 2 months to heal from because his head is made of an egg. Gould is the greatest Scottish player that's not named Johnny Russell in the league. With that being said, Toronto 2-0. Oh. Toronto will win. They have the Canadian Championship legend. I believe Prince Owusu is the leading scorer. Or is it Kerr?
Prince Owusu.
Prince Owusu has been on an absolute tear. He has like 8 goals in 4 games or whatever it is. So it's like, obviously they keep it close with Forge and everything. The game's being held in Toronto, right?
Yes. BMO or no? BC Place. So it's in Vancouver.
Okay, 2-1 there because Vancouver doesn't not score at home. So, but I still think Toronto will win. Coming from the Canadian Championship expert, obviously I've been doing hours of research to figure out who's going to win. And thought it was going to be Cavalry. I thought they had it in the bag this year. But
no, we're not doing this again.
Lost on the way goal.
Kind of like random thought before we hop into these MLS games. Daniel, I know we were kind of talking that you said you've been over here for 10 years now. Mm-hmm. When it comes to the national team, are you like a USMNT guy? Like, do you follow the US now because you're over here? Or
yeah,
how do you feel about that?
I'm quite excited for Pochettino. Obviously, like last World Cup, England played the US. absolutely
Yeah.
wanted England to destroy the US. That's where my loyalties lie first. But I want the US national team to do well. I was just thinking today with my winnings that I could do something really stupid and go buy Christian Pulisic because he's been on a tear.
Is it
And
that stupid though?
Well, who would he play him with?
Salary is, but I've got a bunch of Prem cards that end up in Champ every week, so I could just play Pulisic in Champ.
That's true.
And I'm thinking about slowly. I was talking to one of my friends the other day, and I was like, I really wish we had national team collections back, like they did with the Germany, Belgium, and France ones. If there was a US MMT national collection, I'd be all over it. I want them in the national team jerseys. I want to be able to run a US stack every week for no reason whatsoever, even though half of them score like crap and we barely have a starting goalkeeper for club teams at the moment. So, but we'd figure something out. But yeah, I want the US to do well, and I'm very excited that the World Cup's here soon. So,
oh yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun for all of us who live in the States. I've been looking forward to it forever since they announced it. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do something big. I mean, we just have a lot of football coming. It just got announced at the Club World Cup. Looks like Orlando is going to be one of the host cities at Exploria. So, we'll get a little Club World Cup action. That'll be fun. But yeah, I'm kind of the same way as you, Daniel. Like, I'm Mexico and U.S., but when it comes to Mexico versus U.S., yeah, I want the U.S. to stomp the living heck out of the U.S., even though it hasn't been happening recently. So we'll pretend I didn't say that.
Through watching more of the US, I've learned to hate the Mexican national team. I think that was probably part of my citizenship test. During the interview, it's like, do you quote Dos Acero like 5 times a day? And then, yeah, it was all good. I just the animosity there is quite fun, and I love that every time the games get played in America, and there's like more Mexican fans than US fans.
Yep, and we still get our butts kicked. It is we're an acquired taste, all right, but we make for a good entertainment value.
I don't understand how you guys like have such a bad national team.
It's a lot of disregard, a lot of mismanagement, a lot of greed, a lot of the just federation itself is just shambles.
Okay.
Because I mean, it used to be the glory, but yeah, they just they overvalued their players, weren't letting people leave unless it was like crazy amounts of money. So like the player pool kind of stagnated and just continued to get older with no development for the youth. But hey, it's turning around. We're starting to. There's hope. There's hope. Maybe not for 26, but hey, we'll see in 6 years. It has to get better eventually or something. But yeah, let's hop into these MLS games. Let's talk about MLS. Let's see if we can degen some players late. Even if it's late in the season, there's still a lot of money to win in season, even without those PSV stacks. And yeah, just a giant paywall on youth soccer, but that's over here too. But yeah, Mexico got bad before it didn't. But talking about just being very bad and just like the light just not being there and just slowly fading away for DC United, who wasn't a playoff spot at one point about a week ago. And they are just slowly falling from grace. Benteke just isn't doing it anymore. Jaron Stroud said bye, but this Philadelphia Union team is hot on the back of Tyberibo, Ura, and Gazdag. Daniel, let's take it to you first. How have you seen this turnaround from Philadelphia Union? Are you a believer in this team since they have started off terribly?
I don't know whether I'm quite a believer yet, but it's been going pretty well recently. Tyberibo's just been on fire. Since he came back and he got back into that team, I don't know how many goals and assists he had, but it's a lot. It's an awful lot. And the little bit I saw of this game, Quinn Sullivan just absolutely cooked his man about 15 times down that right side. He just couldn't stay with him. So that was really, really fun to watch. And I'm very much enjoying a little bit more defense from them, purely to help my Kai Wagner scores.
Yeah.
And if they can get a few more clean sheets, Kai Wagner can get a couple of assists. We're looking good. Yeah, they're hopefully it keeps going. I like Philly. I like watching Philly. I want them to make a little bit of a run. And if someone near the bottom of the East playoff rankings could maybe face Miami and maybe not get absolutely destroyed because they could have a good couple of games. I would hope Philly's got more of a chance than at least most of the teams down there.
Yeah, I mean, I would kind of agree. Alex, how have you seen this Philly team? How are you feeling about that?
The way that I've looked at it is they're going to score on you, but they're also going to let you score like very often. And I don't think that teams like that can progress far in the playoffs. They're really good, and obviously for Sorare, they smash. Probably should have bought a stack a while ago. Whenever I see them smash, I just go to see how much money Deke won every time. But
Like Sullivan.
yeah, I think it's I like them. Obviously, Kai Wagner, you finally picked one up. And the saga's over.
I did.
There's a reason why he's
so cheap.
There's a reason why he's the best, defender card in the MLS. But there's also a reason why a lot of the time you pair him up with whoever has the best matchup as a keeper. Not necessarily has to be Blake. So I think if you're running attacking stacks for Philly, you're probably pretty good. Gazdag, Baribo, or Sullivan, low cap, but if you can get him to start, he'll give you a good score. I would probably stick to just running Gazdag, Baribo, because those are going to be your output guys, and Baribo gets some AA too sometimes, and that's rare. And then, besides that, like, I don't know what their matchups are, but going into the playoffs, once you get in, they're going to have to face a quality opponent. Yeah. And most of the time, if they're not at home, they're going to crumble pretty quickly. That's my feelings. I don't think they're elite yet, but they have some good pieces.
Yeah, and you brought it up that Andre Blake was back. He was out for a little bit. But I just closed the window. One of the things, the Philly. Let me tell you about these Philly matchups. They have Atlanta United at home, cool, but then they're away to Orlando, away to Columbus, and then home to Cincinnati to finish off the season. So they are in a pickle. And if you bring up the standings, they are 3 points above the playoff line. They're barely making it by. So they need to. I don't know if you guys have noticed, if anybody has taken a look at these standings, but it is tight right here, 8 through 9. Everybody is separated by only a couple points. And it is getting tight. And Philadelphia have a very, very tough schedule to go. And they might not make it. But hey, Atlanta, probably not going to make it. Montreal, no thank you. Nashville, we'll talk about Nashville. We got to have a conversation about Nashville. And then Toronto slowly slipping away, lifeless. So hey, Philadelphia Union, you love to see it. I think they're on the come up. I like them, but yeah, they're gonna squeeze their way into the playoffs if they make it, and they're gonna have to face Columbus, Cincinnati, or Miami, like you were saying. It's
over.
Not looking good for Philadelphia. But hey, it is what it is. Good luck. Shout out to Deke. Things were bad at the beginning of the season. I know we were all suffering. SKC was bad, Orlando was bad, Philly was bad. The tears were flowing all together, and then ATL is still bad. So you love to see it.
Whoa. They didn't lose to Miami. That's a win.
That's true. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Exactly.
But speaking of Miami, and we'll talk about this. Miami, in a week, they dropped 4 points. They should have easily handled these games, and they did not. That is 2 draws back to back to back. This NYCFC team is slipping, and Inter Miami is starting to slow down a little bit. Daniel, how do you feel about Inter Miami going into the playoffs? The heater is slowly starting to simmer down.
Just so everyone knows, as a heads up, I despise Inter Miami. I watch them purely to hate on them, / vaguely hope that Jordi Alba kicks the ball to Messi and Messi kicks the ball in the goal, just so my Sorare scores go up. But they create so many chances. They walk through a lot of teams all day, even though the average age is about 45 on that team. Even that's brought down by a bunch of youngsters too. They're going to cruise through most of the playoffs, probably. Certainly the first half of them, until they start coming up against those sort of top 4 or 5 teams in the playoffs. They'll be perfectly fine. Messi will get back, even though Messi did drop his all-time worst starting score since Sorare's been around.
Literally
In all of his starts, which I think was about 178 of them, this week was his worst score of all of them, which is almost impressive. I did note when I looked at that Messi graph earlier, he has 5 scores under 40 in all of those games, which is insane. And he has something like 60, 90 pluses.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, there you go. But I mean, there were so many chances in this game. There was so many shots. I was surprised that NYC didn't score a couple more. Calendar made a few really good saves. They're still not brilliant defensively.
No,
Like they don't fill me with a lot of confidence defensively, but they're just going to outscore teams. So they've got Messi up front. Yeah,
apparently it's not the end all be all.
I blame Alex for making us all buy Messi's. He hyped it up and then drops an all-time stinker. So
historic
for
stinker.
profit. It's like he's went up in price.
Exactly.
Literally a historic bad game the week after. Alex like, yo, he's too cheap. He's too cheap. Messi's back.
He's still too cheap. I'm buying another. Buy the dip.
Hey, might as well. Bob Flynn in the chat. Welcome. The legend is here. We haven't talked to Vander yet. We will get there. We have to praise the Portland boys who are just flying through this league. No, I agree. Miami's the only argument for Miami is that defensively they will give up goals. And they face someone like Columbus or they make it to the final against someone like LA Galaxy. LA Galaxy's probably going to shred them apart. Granted, it'll be a goal fest. There'll be like 12 goals in that game, but it's more likely that LA Galaxy find it in the end of the end of the game. There's a lot of question marks, but yeah, dude, Messi, he's not going to do this all the time. Is like clearly 4 games under 40 in his entire playing history on Sorare. So that just tells you that, hey, we'll run him out again next week and hope for the best with Messi. I mean, then, yeah, how are we feeling about NYCFC, Alex? I know you've been on them since day one. They went winless in 8, something like that. They're blowing leads, they're blowing games. They just haven't gotten it across the line. What's the vibe check on NYCFC?
I hate to say what the X factor is, but all I'm gonna say is NYCFC has been bad ever since Maxi began starting. That's all I'm gonna say. As good as his Sorare scores have been, something's going on.
Not the Maxi disrespect.
They're scoring less goals than usual. Maybe it's time to put Santi back in that central role and throw a couple wingers out there. Also, maybe this is because Maxi's been solid. Maybe Talos Magna is also gone. And we know how good he was for like a game. And then they shipped him off. They waited for
the one game he played?
Yeah, he's at Vasco da Gama now, and he scored a goal in the first game, and his price went up to like $70 for a rare. Don't think that stayed. Because every time I check, he's at Corinthians, which is like the worst team in the league. Okay, not that bad. He scored a handful of goals. He scored 3 goals and 1 assist. Not bad. And they just got Memphis Depay, so maybe you get your Magnaus if you have him. And the GOAT. Don't forget, he's over there too. Jose Martinez.
That's right.
But yeah,
Corinthians building a nice little team down there, huh?
They're like horrible though. They're like 20th in the league. Like they're genuinely bad. They do have the GOAT, Romalo though, PSV legend, the only good PSV guy that I'm okay with. But NYCFC is probably going to crash out early based on this form. It hasn't been consistent enough like it was at the beginning of the season. If they can get home playoff games, I think it'd be a little bit different. But there's just too many hot teams right now, and they're probably going to end up facing one of them. And so I hate to say it, Santi season looks like it's coming to an end. Finally, he's getting AA, but just can't get those decisives. And how are you supposed to win money without decisives?
Yeah.
So, and he's also suspended for the next game, I'm pretty sure. I think he's got yellow card in relation.
I believe that's right too, yes. So yeah, just I'm still running, guys.
When it rains, of course.
Not in high prio, not like I used to be. Not like the prio that I used to be. Just throw Santi and Alonso Martinez. I will say, if you have Alonso Martinez, run him out decently okay prio because he's been solid. He's been really solid. I think he's scored like 7 goals in the last 8 games. So he's a guy you should look out for sure.
Do you rate this team at all, Daniel? Like, do you have any feelings about NYCFC outside of Santi? Because I guess that's kind of chalk a little bit.
No, they're like a decent team. They're pretty middle of the pack for me. I think there's pretty distinct groups in the MLS. There's a bunch of really good teams. There's a bunch of very mediocre teams, and there's a whole lot of bad teams. And I think they may be on a good day pushing towards the top end of those middling teams, but I don't feel too strongly one way or the other on them.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens at the end of the season. Does Cushing survive? Do they move on? They need to bring players in. They had some players. They got a lot of injuries. NYCFC is in a rough place, but hey, they're not as bad as the New England Revolution going down to a Charlotte team, which shout out to Trippin. All right. Danny Brams, he caused a turnaround in Charlotte. He looked at Dean Smith and said, y'all boring. And Dean Smith said, hold my beer. Patrick Ajimon said, hold my beer. Tore this team apart. Charlotte FC continuing to destroy teams, getting coaches fired, destroying front offices because Carlos Hill and Arriaga were fighting on the pitch. They were pushing and shoving. It is getting bad down in New England.
Did you see Nacho try to be the mediator as if his brother wasn't one of the people that was fighting? He's like, bro, chill. It's like, yeah, obviously you wanted to chill. He's talking to Arriaga. Yeah, they're coach. Sorry, Riv Sower. Sorry, AJ.
Yeah, Boston Sean, R.I.P.
Boston Sean, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Charlotte FC, they showed up. They scored goals. Everybody. Pat Biel hitting his first 100 in MLS. Abada showing up. Kalina doing Kalina things. Ajimong, dude, tore this team apart. All I will say is Barek Terovic for New England has been awesome all season. Congratulations to him. Probably one of the only bright spots in this team. Charlotte FC, another one of those teams that will make the playoffs. Daniel, do you think their defense can carry them through the playoffs, take them to a playoff run, especially if they get hot at the right time, scoring goals?
It probably depends on who they come up against. I don't know who they're sort of likely to match up against right now, but if they come up against one of those really good attacks, it won't. Like
like Orlando over Charlotte right now?
Orlando could damage through them, but
no, Charlotte Columbus is.
Obviously, Charlotte's attack has been pretty poor for the last few weeks, apart from this week, but also I wouldn't take much out of this game because it's New England, and I know most teams probably cook New England's defense. I will say Arjuman for Biel's goal just cooked three guys. He turned them one way, went the other way, burst past all of them, cut it back to him, gave him a little tap in. It was beautiful to watch. Their defense is solid, though. So, I mean, they'll put up a fight. I can't see them getting far in the playoffs. Maybe they could get through a first round.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, defense wins games, right? Defense wins championships, and they have that. And
Tim Ream, baby.
Oh, Tim Ream. Has Tim Ream been scoring well at all? Do we know?
He's been getting like 55. I throw him in throwaway rare lineups, and I'm like, oh, he scored a goal. Oh, 20 AA clean sheet. Nothing crazy, though. So, until then, Tim Ream, better start scoring. I picked you up when Trippin said it, I think in April. I held him for like 4 months, and I was like, he's $6. I'm not going to sell him. I can just buy one on auction. Came to the club, price didn't change. Could have just waited. Didn't need to spend the $6, but it's fine. He's been all right.
Oh, the Trippin B cards are floating around the market. R.I.P. But shout out to him, legend of the Discord, just king of the Discord. Actually, starting the Discord so all of us could thrive and have fun. But yeah, Charlotte, it'll be a team to watch. Maybe don't make a far playoff run, but this defense will be awesome, and they are a team to watch for next year. Dean Smith, since he arrived, he has been slowly shaping up that team to be a little dangerous on the right day. So there's that. And then, yeah, RIP Revs. I guess we can talk about this incredibly exhilarating game. The Cardiac Cats back at it again.
Ooh.
Orlando City to Columbus, a 4-3 thriller. Orlando City was down 3-0 at one point. The comeback was real, as we always do against Columbus. It was just back and forth nonsense. The first 20 minutes, I was like, oh, wow, we're hanging with the big boys. We looked good against Columbus. We created dangerous chances, but in perfect Orlando City fashion, didn't finish a single one of them.
Almost got him.
Almost got him, but whatever. I'm glad we brought it back. It was a good show and gave me hope for the playoffs. Everybody's doubting us. Orlando only beats bad teams, man. Well, guess what?
They're still right.
Shh. Okay,
When's the last time you beat a good team?
I don't think we've beat a single team above the playoff line this season.
Exactly. Couldn't even beat Sporting, and that's bad.
And we got thrashed by Sporting 3-0. Either way, but hey, you'll be happy, Alex. Muriel with the brace off the bench.
Huge, yeah. No, this is why they're paying him the big bucks, right?
Not only that, but that is 3 games in a row now, or 2 games with a decisive, 3 decisives and 2 games off the bench. Muriel, I still wouldn't go near it with a 10-foot pole, but it's just funny to think about that.
He's a new Ramiro. What are you talking about?
Once again, we are wasting a DP on the bench. You love to see it. If it's not one, it's the other. Hey, it's a good problem to have. All of our strikers are scoring goals, doing things. I do want to point out that although this Columbus team was rotated, Aziel Jackson had a really incredible game. And this team, even though they rotated, Arvston doing his thing, this team is just dangerous. And Cucho off the bench, this team is just unstoppable. Do you guys have anything else to say about this game? Really? I mean, we know about Columbus, how awesome they are. But Daniel, any thoughts on this team?
Cucho's just insane. He needs 45 minutes to put up like 90 points. And he did a similar thing last game when he came off the bench again. And he just destroyed everyone. I really hope they get back to playing Cucho and Rossi together, purely for my SO5 teams. Because both times I put them in the same lineup. Just because I was like, oh, one will sit the other, and then they didn't start. But it's worked out all right with Cucho doing well off the bench. I love Austin. He's so composed on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And for someone that young to like, he makes the right decision a lot. He does the right thing a lot. And as far as an SO5 card goes, if you're playing U23, he's played through one of the best attacks in the league, and he gets decent AA. So I also think they missed Zawadzki, like defensively, breaks up so much of the play through midfield. And I think that's part of the reason why Orlando got a lot of joy. They just sort of, I mean, Matane is just not the same sort of player. When you got somebody that can play central midfield, centre forward, centre back, and goalie, and he's not there, you're gonna miss him a little.
They got to rest him for the big game.
I miss him already. Can we throw him? Can we get him in goal again, please? I want to see it.
Did you guys see there was a press conference and they asked Wilfred Nasse why Zawadzki wasn't in the match, and he was like, "Oh, we didn't need more goalkeepers." And it's like, obviously
he may have scored more points than Schulte this week. So
yeah,
that is true. Did he get? He didn't record a save, right? Damn, that would have been cool.
Probably not.
That would have been cool if he recorded a save.
Not as massive as Schlegel saving the penalty to win a playoff game, but it is what it is. But yeah,
did you guys win the MLS Cup that year?
No.
Oh,
no, we did not. Was that the Open Cup year though? No, it wasn't. That was the first Oscar Pareja year. But yeah, Max Arfson's fun. He's a guy that like I want to pick up, but I just don't know where he's gonna be next year. Like I'm getting to the point where this Columbus Crew team has done it for 2-3 years now, that they've been really good, and it's getting to the point where like this team's gonna get gutted at some point. They're not gonna be able to pay all these players all these crazy salaries, and
where he's headed. You know where he's headed.
Where's he headed?
He's headed to Sporting KC, and he's going to be the only player on our entire roster. We're going to have one player, and it's going to be Arson. We're going to get Arson and Zawadzki and just have them. That's our team.
Yeah. Well, Arson's impressive, man. He's 2-footed. He can play on the left or right, so he's going to play. He's not really going to get subbed out.
If I were the Columbus front office, I would be vying hard to keep him. He can play either wing, and that's like the one somewhat weak spot of their game is the wing. He's had to play a lot of games. When he started playing well, they put him in, played a lot of games. I don't think he gets rotated anymore. They brought in DeJuan Jones to try to give themselves some depth, and there was some thinking that he would replace him. No, Arson's been incredible. So I think Columbus should probably hold on to them. I don't know. His contract's up at the end of this year, you said?
No, he should be because they picked him up in the draft, right? He was a draft
Is that
guy,
true?
so yeah, I think they have him for
Do they have him
like
for a
2-3
while?
years. Yeah,
No, they have
but no,
until. No, it doesn't say. It doesn't say on Sorare.
but it's a good problem to have because they have Mo Farsi. They brought in what is it, Miguel Herrera too, who has honestly looked really good in the few minutes that he's had on the right side. Dude, they're just loaded up with guys, and they're like, hey, whoever we sell, and then the next guy up, and then the next guy up just happens to be better than most players in the MLS anyway. So
Yeah.
hey, way to go,
His
Columbus.
He's got an option. It ends at the end of this year, but he's got 2 more years on his option.
Yeah.
So trigger those years, please. I
Well,
want
from
to
what
keep watching.
I've heard Tom Bogert say that there's a lot of MLS teams interested in him too. So there is a lot of interest in Max Arfston. So wherever he goes, who knows? But he should perform either way. Great guy. Good shout out, Daniel. We won't talk much about this game. The Montreal Impact 2-0 to the Chicago Dumpster Fire themselves. RIP Chicago, season's over. Good luck. You got rid of Shaqiri, at least that's cool. Vintage Joseph though, getting a goal, chipping the keeper, doing Joseph things, and Caden Clark deciding he wanted to play football again after leaving the Red Bulls. Do we have any thoughts about these two teams? Maybe Montreal sneaks into the playoff with their chaos, but do we have any words about any of these teams, Daniel?
It's nice seeing Caden Clark playing well. He also chipped it over Chris Brady for his goal. It was quite nice. Clark played pretty well throughout most of that game. I will say, if you're on a budget and you want a collection for the start of next season, I'm not saying Montreal will be good, but when they play well, they've got a lot of good AA scorers, and you could win something. I think right now you could probably get their entire collection for about $25 like in season, because I'm pretty sure their most expensive player is the goalie, and then like Caden Clark's like $3, and Joseph is about $3, and everyone else is about 80 cents, like in season. So there'll be a little bit more at the start of next season, but you want an in-season team, they do well in AA the way they play. So I don't know, could be a shout.
Yeah, I mean, it is discount Columbus. Obviously, Nance leaving there. They are the whoever's in Montreal was his assistant, I think, something like that. So under Montreal, so he's going to play that Wilfred Nance system. Discount Columbus, and then I mean, Nathan Saliba is incredible in the midfield. They brought in Marshall Ruddy, which we were high on early in the season. So they had pieces, man. Opoku coming off the bench. Waterman didn't even play this game. They brought in Kokoro, which is supposed to be a piece, but didn't really do much.
I agree. The goat though, Ariel Lassiter, who does play for Chicago. It was a revenge game, and he didn't do anything.
And they got rid of Huon like idiots. Like, who would get rid of Huon?
So dumb. Their playoff chances immediately evaporated as soon as they got rid of him.
You mean the best fullback in the league?
The best fullback in the world.
True. I mean,
no. It's like Trent Huon. That's how it is.
Then after him, you go up a little bit further, and you've got Nuhu, and then Nuhu going to win a Ballon d'Or. So
he is. I've seen the proof. I've seen the pictures.
Yeah, it got leaked, right? Yeah, it said that.
It's my profile picture on Discord for a reason.
The script got leaked, man. I'm just saying.
It's holding the trophy, so it happened.
No, I'm glad Daniel's shouting out Montreal, because I have mentioned it a couple times this season that Montreal's the team to look at, man. On the right day, they do play some nice football. It's just not there, and they've been very active in the market. They've been trying to get the right pieces in and around these people. Bryce Duke, maybe second coming, third coming of Bryce Duke, maybe eventually. Nope. So yeah, definitely something to look forward to next season for Montreal. And then Chicago Fire, we're just going to say you ignore their existence, and maybe they'll get moved to Las Vegas or something. Because
no, they're not going to move a team to Chicago. No way. Well, they're going to move
Columbus.
Well, that's Columbus is Columbus. I'm talking about Chicago. We're talking about like a top 3 city in the nation, population-wise.
Yeah.
Where would the next expansion team after San Diego be?
Vegas. Probably.
Would it be?
Most likely.
What about Des Moines? Des Moines Menace. Let's move to Des Moines. I like that.
Ain't nobody wanted MLS team in Iowa, dude.
I'm gonna sell my limited Messi and fund an MLS team in Iowa. I'm doing it.
Oh, okay.
If you guys want to chip in some some limiteds, let me know.
No, not no. We're all right. We're gonna keep moving on here. We're already at an hour. I didn't even ask Daniel how much of your time do we have, Daniel? How many?
Got me all night. I'm doing nothing tonight. So.
Oh, all right, 3-hour stream incoming.
Oh God.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, it's only 5 o'clock here, so I've got all the time.
Oh, nice. It's almost past my bedtime. So we're gonna move on. Talk about my bedtime. Both of these teams put me to sleep often. The New York Red Bulls and Atlanta United, a thrilling 2-2, a Guzan, basically 100. This was actually a fun game. It was back and forth, just chaos nonsense. This was the definition of MLS. The Red Bulls, another one of those teams that are slowly falling from grace. Had a great start to the season, but it's just crumbling beneath their eyes. Daniel, are you a Forsberg believer? And is he going to change his team when he eventually decides he wants to play football again?
No. No, I'm not. But I will say on Red Bulls, I think John Tolkien, I know it popped off today, but throughout the season, he's put up some good scores. He's been on sets. He takes basically all the corners. It hasn't come together with an assist from the good AA so far until this weekend. And he's like 12 still. So he's got U23 utility forever. But there's been plenty of good scores. He just needs to pull them together a little bit. I mean, obviously Forsberg will help, but I don't know if it's going to transform the team into something really dangerous. But
yeah.
I do want to say that Dylan Nealis choked the game right at the end. Very last kick of the game. 2 yards out, back post, put it over the bar. Just kick the ball at the goal, dude. Anywhere on the goal.
It's not that hard.
I know you got the best goalkeeper in the world at the other end, but like, just kick it at the goal.
Dude,
that has been said about Brad Guzan on multiple occasions. I'm pretty sure.
Dude, these Brad Guzan scores are just ridiculous because everybody knows better. There's no way. There's just no way, and it just continues to keep happening. There's no way Brad Guzan should have this many dark green scores. It doesn't make sense.
He's just not going to die, is he? He's gonna keep playing forever. Like ever since I've been on Sorare, everyone's told me don't buy Guzan. He's gonna retire next year. It's the end. He got an injury. Don't go there. And every month I look back and it's like, oh, he's got another 80+ score. How?
You want to know something genuinely too? He's gonna resign after this year. I personally believe he's gonna resign because he's been putting up these good of performances. Cohen shit the bed when he played. I genuinely think he'll get another year. And they're rebuilding too. I mean, obviously, the new coach could be like, "Oh, get him out of here." But I think the likelihood of him resigning is higher than him not. That's my
so.
Sorry.
Thomas brings up Amador, which I'm assuming is a new signing for Atlanta United. And defenders are hard to come by in the MLS. And these scores look kind of nice. I'm just throwing it out there. Kind of went under the radar because it's the end of the season. We might be lacking a little bit. What are we thinking about this guy here? Little Pedro Amador action.
What's his rare price?
Oh, here we go. Now we're talking $8.
So would you rather have Brooks Lennon or Amador?
Brooks Lennon has been booty cheeks this season. They also have Philadelphia, Montreal, Red Bulls, and away to Orlando to the end of the season. So it's not that terrible of a schedule.
For me, the thing is he's a center back, so the decisives are not gonna stay.
This says he's a left wing back.
Well, isn't that... Well, Lennon's a right back. Okay, then maybe they have this mixed up wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, if he's a wing back...
Thompson's in here, so...
If he's a wing back, then we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, if Thomas is bringing him up and rates him... Then
he is the Atlanta guy.
I'd tend to probably lean that he's probably going to be pretty good. That'd be my guesstimate.
We all need someone to pair with Guzan. Daniel, where are you on this degen buy?
I mean, I'm here for it. I pay zero attention to Atlanta. So I can't say I've watched much of what he's been doing these last few weeks, but the scores are there.
The scores are there. Well, we were just in Atlanta, and I got to tell you, they didn't show up for that game, so I didn't see much of them either. I did get to see a wonderful Nashville team, though, who decided to play pretty soccer all of a sudden.
And I will say how confident Saba is on the ball.
Yeah,
Haven't seen many players as confident as him in real life.
I know we haven't done a show since, but that banger by Moranchuk, I'm sure everybody has seen it. Ooh, what a left foot! Dear Lord, what a strike! That's
Huge.
How do you feel about Atlanta for next season? No.
Yeah, I like them. I do. I think they're going to bring in more people during the off season, so you're going to have to buy them whenever they come over.
Right.
I think right now you should have Guzan. I guess Amador, and probably just buy Lennon too, just to have him, and Marinchuk, and then wait to see who they buy as their attackers, because it is glaringly obvious that is the next gap to be filled. Daniel Rios is not going to suffice for another season. As good as he has been this season, which he's been at somewhat all right, I don't think that it will suffice for that long. So I would say that I like that. I do like the prospect of buying them.
Mm-hmm. Atlanta for next season.
Did you guys see the Mosquera goal? That was a beautiful goal. I saw the clip of it, but it was beautiful. Cut it on the right foot, curled it into the corner.
It was beautiful, I will say.
I was about to say, let me see if I could actually pull that up, because that was a goal worthy of a little show on the stream. Daniel, how do you feel about Atlanta for next season?
Like I say, I don't pay much attention to them, so I'm going to neglect to give an opinion on that one.
Smart.
Smart indeed. Oh yeah. All right. I got it right here. All right. Check this goal out. Just straight out of nowhere. Just what are the Red Bulls doing in stoppage? Just
beautiful.
What a curler.
And he came on the pitch like 30 seconds before that.
Yep. And guess what? They still managed to lose drop points in New York. That goal happened in the 92nd minute in stoppage time, and they still managed to blow the lead, the 2-1 lead. Just terrible marking in the box off a set piece. It's off a set piece, right? Something like that. Yeah, rough scenes for Atlanta. But hey, maybe next year, Atlanta. Maybe you'll be a little bit more respectable next year. Let's keep going through these games real quick. Hey, the Houston Dynamo getting their first win ever away at Austin. I was baffled by that stat. This is the first time they have won in Austin. But Houston Dynamo without Hector Herrera, trying to get him healthy back for the playoffs. A little hammy issue, but no Hector, no problem when you have Carrasquilla in the lineup. Getting the business done in Austin. Another one of those teams that are basically out. Driussi might be out. He is sharing some tweets about wanting out, asking for that trade. Driussi.
Yeah, we got to open spots, Sebastian. We got to open spots, Sebastian. That's all I'm saying. I'm just going to say that about everybody because we just need players.
You know it's bad in SKC.
When we want
begging for anything.
Please, Driussi, the guy who's gotten like 2 assists this year, please come to our club.
just begging for crumbs. Poor.
Who would be the most random player that I'd want here? Who won? That's not random. That's a GOAT. That's my bad. But like
that is a great player to have on your team. Daniel, are you as high in the Houston Dynamo as we are on this show? Because we are all for the Fighting Ben Olsens.
I love Houston purely from an SO5 point of view. They're pretty good as a football team too, but like they get such good AA. I won a Franco Escobar.
Oh yeah.
Last weekend. Another weekend just gone. The one before that, I sold the in-season one to buy the classic season one because I had a level 19 or 20 Hector Herrera. Ooh. So and then I brought a Steve Clark as well because you might as well finish off the mini stack right there. But they're good. I just wish Ponce would kick the ball in the net sometimes especially for me, when Herrera kicked the ball to him because he's been missing plenty of chances and it's been slowly doing my head in. But he hasn't missed one quite as bad as Zardes missed a header in this game.
Oof.
I don't know if you saw that. Clark came out, completely missed the ball. Wide open. The goal is wide open. No one on him. Heads it at the post, and then I guess it was Sviatchenko came back and cleared it off the line. But anywhere else in the goal, it goes in. I don't know how Zardes missed that.
It's just Zardes, man. That's what he does.
That's just Austin this year. That is just the definition of what is happening to Austin this year. And no, I agree, man. The Ponce connection, like, there's so many chances that are at his feet, and he just fumbles it all the time. Like, he gets pinged wonderful passes from everybody, and it just isn't happening.
The Scalia bike was quite fun.
Oh, but yep.
Brad Stewart absolutely should save that. He doesn't kick it well. It goes straight at him, just down slightly to his left, and somehow he doesn't keep it out.
It just rolled in. There was no pace behind the ball either. He kind of just like flopped it into the goal. All right, but a bicycle's a bicycle. But yeah, dude, this defense is insane. We're Team Franco. We're Team Mikhail. Even Sviatchenko. It's been shouted out a million times on this show. Steve Clark, another one of those guys who's never going to retire, has been great. And Artur has been a dog in the midfield with Karaskia. So yeah, this team's going to be fun. They could be a sneaky little playoff dark horse.
Are we expecting Hector Herrera to be back anytime soon, or why is he been out?
Yeah, he got a knock 2 games ago, and I don't know the status on it.
It was a hamstring kind of injury. It didn't seem like it was like season ending, but they're probably going to nurse him leading into the playoffs. They're sitting in a good spot in the standings, where if they don't have to, and I mean, they keep getting results without him. I'm pretty sure they've won the last 2 games without him.
Yeah. Well, they're going to lose this weekend because they got the best team in the league. So.
Oh, they're playing Seattle.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah. Hey, that'll be an interesting game. That'll be an interesting matchup with playoff implications too. They're middle of the park fighting for a top seed, fighting for a home playoff. But yeah, he should be back for the playoffs, but how much we see him before then, it'll be tricky to see. They're definitely going to want to nurse him for that playoff run. So just something to think about. But yeah, the Houston Dynamo getting it done. Alex, do you have any other words about this Houston team?
Well, I've had the Clark Sviatchenko stack. I threw in Romalo because he had like a 75% clean sheet percentage, and I was busy the whole week, so I made my lineup super quickly on the last night. Didn't realize he had a yellow card accumulation thing going on. So, yeah, I put up like 290 or 390 something. I put up, my limited was worse. I had like 80 from my keeper, Cucho captained. I'll look. You can show it if you want. Yeah, it's bad. It was like Hamer, Cucho, Captain, Rossi, and my keeper put up 80. And then the big all I needed to do was research.
No.
So I'll be better about that. But yeah, I've won multiple rewards with Houston defense. I don't think their attack is something that should be touched. But anything Hector or Artur and below, I think is good to own because at home they tend to keep a lot of clean sheets. We've been said this, and they get good AA in the defense whenever they keep a clean sheet. You're usually getting like 60 plus from each of their defenders, genuinely every time. Besides Dorsey, puts up like 41 with like 5 missed crosses, but it's Sviatchenko, Escobar, and Mikhail all put up good scores when they get a clean sheet. That's why I like Sviatchenko because he's the cheapest option, and the score is like a 3 score difference most of the time. But yeah, I love Houston and Austin. There's 0 players that you should be owning from Austin, genuinely. Not even Stuber, because he puts up AA, but he's putting up 45. That's the only team in the league, I think. Them, you could say Chicago because Brady's U23, and like you kind of want to own him. I genuinely think that they are the only team that there is not a single player on there that you would want to keep.
I 100% agree, but I also think they played half decently in this game as an actual soccer team, but definitely don't buy any of their players. Yes, and I do also own a Chris Brady because for the exact reason he's U23 for about 10 years. So
you have to.
He's got a lot of I mean, like what they played really well, and their best score was a 50 from the GOAT John Gallagher, or 56 from Cascante. But like that's at half. That's at half. That's actually not horrible, but like. They don't score goals. And they don't keep clean sheets. So it's like,
what are you good for?
Exactly. There's that. They have nothing. Next year, though, they got McConaughey. He had a viral clip the other day.
Oh yeah, McConaughey, dude, top bins only, man.
Huge.
Banger, barefoot.
Exact.
Seems like a grounding, touch grass kind of guy.
Banging the drum. What does he do?
Yeah, whatever it is for what it's worth. Talk about another team that is slipping though. LAFC, obviously rotation Open Cup final this week. Take it for what it is, but Dallas, yeah, that's the talking point right here. Dallas getting it done. Peter Musa scoring the goal and then getting hurt in classic fashion. This team cannot stay healthy. Jesus Ferreira is back. Okay, that is 2 games now. Who is just making the magic happen for this team. Barrington off the bench continues to be a bright spot, young up and coming. I've been high on Dallas for the last couple of weeks. I don't know if they can necessarily make the playoffs because they were real bad, but I'm kind of high on this team. Daniel, how are you? How are you on the Dallas train? Are you
I
on
quite
the
like
train?
Dallas. I'm quite happy with where Dallas are. I mean, they got Velasco back now as well,
It's
which
true.
longer term. I mean, he wasn't particularly on it in this game, but it's like kind of his first game back, his first start back at the very least, and they've been pretty good. And they've got the best right back in the world, as we've already talked about.
Let's go.
There's nothing that can stop them except from injuries and being in one of those middling teams in the MLS. They're one of those middling teams that are pretty good on some days.
Some
Yeah.
days. Well,
Not all.
I think there was a crazy stat where it's like, what is it? Musa, Ferreira, and what, I guess Velasco maybe, or like another guy. Like they've only played like 200 minutes together this entire season. Like all the pieces that they brought in to like be these like big splash signings and all this and that, like they just haven't been able to play together. So they can't stay healthy. And you get Jesus Ferreira back. He's on fire. He's trying to prove something. And then, yeah, Peter Musa goes down again. Do you guys know the extent of that injury, actually, by chance?
For Musa?
Yeah, for Musa.
Let me find that out.
I don't know if they were just...
I haven't heard anything about it, but I mean, he didn't look in that much pain when he came off. He walked off and he actually was laughing towards whoever the physio was that he was talking to.
Really?
Knee-to-knee contact, coach said he'll be okay. 60% on Deke. So that seems probable to play.
Okay, so it's not too bad. That's good. Yeah, they're probably being precautionary. Like I said, there is a chance they can maybe sneak their way into the playoffs, kind of limp in. But they have a lot of work to do, and they're going to need them at full strength. So yeah, maybe it's just precautionary. But yeah, Dallas is going to be fun. It's another one of those teams I'm looking for next season. And then yeah, LAFC rotation nightmare from here on out, probably for another week or two. I think they still have a game in hand, so there's going to be crunch time into the playoffs. They have Open Cup this week. So much like Columbus, they're going to be rotating like crazy. Good luck with that. And it's just something I don't want to deal with.
Look at that score, 58.6. Elite. Absolutely elite.
I will say, when I was looking earlier, I was sort of hypothesizing about if you were wanting to buy a couple of collections at the end of the season, mainly look at Classic for the next season. You can buy the entire in-season LAFC collection for about $65.
Wow.
And you get playoff utility this year as well. You might be able to make that work. And next season, they're probably going to be good again.
But we've had the greatest JMO season of all time.
True.
Is he going to replicate it?
Maybe. Hopefully.
Hope so. Are they bringing in anybody? Have they been linked to anybody?
No, because they refused to actually look at DPs.
Yeah, De La Vega was like the one guy.
Well, we have
We've seen all that good.
we have Rusnak, and Rudiaz hopefully is leaving because
they already announced that he was. Yeah,
I thought so. But the management don't seem to actually want to spend the money, so we're sort of probably stuck with a bunch of middling expense players. If they could bring in a couple of wingers, DP wingers. I mean, JMO's going to be great again, of course, but
yeah, we'll see.
Hopefully, Hopefully, because the rest of the team's really good. Because even with João Paulo out, I mean, the guys filling in for him are more than good enough. And I don't know, just if they could get the wallets out of the back pockets and spend some money on DPs, I think we could actually have a chance of contending for something.
They need to get that wallet. They need to get that wallet out and secure that Rusnak. Isn't he a free agent? So he could technically leave on a free this season. There's a lot of teams that'd be after him.
You say
By the
there's a
way,
player available.
Rusnak's been dodging decisives left, right, and center. It's been doing my head in.
Hey, Mealy's gonna mealy. That's all I'm saying.
What is it, like 2 or 3 penalties he's missed in the last like month and a half or something for Rusnak? Like,
Couple of penalties, and he keeps on getting big chances created that mostly Jordan Morris keeps on missing.
yeah, a couple off the post too. Yeah, I've been watching, man. I put Rusnak in my prio a lot of the time, and it's just painful.
Hey, he got his 100 against Columbus, so we'll take it.
Yeah, of all games too. It's like, he's probably not going to bang in this game, and sure enough, yeah, he bangs 100 against Columbus.
Yeah. Early red card helped, and having Zawadzki in the goal.
Yeah, I always laughed at that game. It must have been fun for you, but yeah, they were just kicking the ball. They were just like, from anywhere you get the ball, you shoot. It doesn't matter where you are on the pitch. Just shoot it at them.
Just kick it. Why not?
Just kick it. Talking about someone who kicks it, and he kicks it very well. Cincinnati, 2-2 to Nashville. The hot and fire in form at the right time. Nashville against Cincinnati. But hey, when it comes to Lucho Acosta and Luca Oriano, it is no match. Oriano scores bangers only, continuing to do it with a free kick goal in here and assisting to Lucho. Lucho is back. Lucho's had a rough couple of weeks, but he is back now. But they can't beat Nashville, which is troubling. This team has been in a roller coaster of emotions up all year. I feel bad for Cincinnati fans because they have been through it this year. But
Appreciate it.
how are we feeling about Cincinnati here? Are you a believer in Cincinnati, or do you think it's too much, too late? Like the team has just been rough.
I don't think they're going to make a run at the MLS Cup. I think it's been a little rough. I mean, maybe if Lucho can get back onto the hot form he had earlier in the year and the stuff we know he can do. Ariano's just scoring banger after banger, like you say.
So good.
Another nice free kick. I do think Willis should save that. He's basically there, and he kind of just palms it up into the roof. Yeah. But still a banging goal either way. They just, I don't know what it is about Cincy right now. They're just not quite getting there. And Nashville continue to be annoying because I keep playing players against them thinking, Nashville are bad. They'll let a bunch of goals, and they just somewhat stay defensively solid enough at the moment to just be annoying and grind away. I would say I noticed earlier that Hayden Mukhtar is like $6, and I know Nashville are bad right now, but maybe next season they might be better. And
Don't get Jorge started. I don't know. He's pushing the agenda.
I love me some Hadi Mukhtar, bro. You want to talk about Hadi Mukhtar? It has been great. I ran my Nashville stack.
They're playing New England. That's goals.
Oh, look at this schedule though. For someone who's fighting to sneak into the playoffs, they literally have New England, DC, NYCFC, and Chicago. Like they are great matchups. Like Nashville is not that far off. They're sitting on 33 points. One of these games, and they are automatically over the line. Out of all these teams, they probably have a ticket booked for the playoffs.
As we said earlier, Philly's got a tough run in. Montreal also have a good run. I can't remember exactly who Montreal play, but there's not anyone very good. I think they have like one tough game in there. So they could, but I still don't think Montreal are particularly great anyway. So,
I mean, Toronto's slipping too, so the odds that Toronto falls out is high. Like it could be Philly and Nashville sneaking into the playoffs here. Which
you know about the Canadian Championship slump is a thing. So Toronto.
Oh yeah. So they're going to win the Canadian Championship and then just slag off the rest of the season, call it quits.
Exactly. They're going to be like, this is our Super Bowl.
Oh.
I'm not at all surprised that Alex knows that, being the Canadian Championship reporter that we have.
Exactly. Extensive. I went to Vancouver just to report, just to like get a vibe of the area, see, interview people on the street.
Don't get them going. Don't.
Thomas, get in here. We need the other expert.
But Montreal, yeah, I mean, they're hosting San Jose, which, I mean, give or take, they're playing Atlanta, Charlotte, and NYCFC. So yeah, I mean, they have some winnable games there. So it's going to be tight to get into that playing game in the playoffs.
Yeah.
NYC must have a pretty good run in, considering the two teams we've just talked about both play NYC. I don't know who they've got to run in, but they might be all right.
Yeah, and they just played Miami too, so that might have been their hard schedule of the end stretch out of the way.
Red Bulls, then Cincy, and then Nashville and Montreal to finish.
Okay, that's all right. Could be worse. I'd probably be happy as an NYCFC fan. If they get 2 draws out of those first 2 games or 1 draw out of those first 2 games, they're probably cruising.
So Alex, do you think Nashville has a shot at making the playoffs? Like, you've seen them. We've been watching. We've seen what this
based
Nashville's
on
doing.
what we saw. It really, really depends on whether Hani can get the attack going, because their defense is going to hold solid. They're probably not going to concede 3, but if Hani can't provide 1 or 2 goals in that game, they're probably not going to do anything. And he's starting to get informed, so I like that. But something could happen. Who are the matchups? Can you scroll it?
Surge is the one that's finding form.
Away at New England, I don't think they win that. Away at NYCFC, I don't think they win that. I think they draw to DC and win. We'll see. I don't think they win the New England or NYCFC, but they could come away with. Because remember, the last time that New England and Nashville faced off was that penalty shootout that didn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, yeah, dude, Sam Surge, we say it all the time that, hey, when it comes to MLS, man, you get hot at the right time, it'll change everything. And Nashville's kind of doing it, so we will see if Sam Surge and Hani Mukhtar can carry Nashville over the line. And then, yeah, I guess Atlanta's floating around too. Maybe it's Saba time. We shall see. We got a few games left. Let's get through these things. Right now we're in a half. Geez, where does the time go when you're having fun? Dear Lord.
Are we going over? Are we going over this week's games too?
No,
like this
no.
coming. Okay.
No. We're just we're just covering. We're running through these games. But hey, what happened to Sporting Kansas City, man?
Bro, look at that defensive AA. Who needs goals?
Wow.
It was a sacrifice that had to be made for the U.S. Open Cup run that we've been on. We can't make the playoffs like we did last year again. It's not going to happen. The season, based on like being in the locker room and talking to guys after multiple Open Cup games, it kind of seems like this is their backbone. This is what's going to decide whether their season is a success or not. Is the Open Cup? I think they kind of knew that the playoff thing was not going to be something feasible. Is that like they were never going to achieve the playoffs after that first half of the season, and they didn't start to turn it on. And so, yeah, I think that we're just going to go game by game. I think we actually might get a few results to end the season because we're going to start giving our young guys maybe a few more minutes. We're also going to probably give Polito a little bit more time because he's been starting to rack up goals, which is insane to say. I didn't think he would. I didn't think he'd roll back into form. And then, yeah, we're just sort of waiting on the offseason. As fans, we're after this weekend's in St. Louis, we're kind of just waiting on the offseason to see what happens, just see whether we make a move. We haven't made a transfer in 2 years. We've only been picking up free agents and signing guys who are just I guess they would still be free agents. I guess we got Memo, who's a pool player, put him on trial. But yeah, we always score good AA at home. It's just whether we win or not. That's why the Orlando game was good, because we scored some goals. That's like that's like one of 2 examples this season.
You're welcome.
So I appreciate it. I didn't win any rewards, so it doesn't really matter.
It was a pity win.
A win's a win. But Minnesota, they looked good on the counter. We basically held possession the whole time. So I still got to say Kelvin Yeboah has been very good for them. And yeah, I still think Rosales has some value. I think it just depends on the game. He's one of those guys that's going to either score 45 or like 65. He doesn't really go negative AA that often. But yeah, those 2 guys I like. Lud came off the bench, got 2 assists. I didn't start him in any lineups. I don't think anybody, because there was rotation. But yeah, I think Minnesota, are they above the playoff line? Do we know?
They're 9th. They're right on it.
Ooh, okay.
But I think they've got 5 points over Dallas.
Okay, yeah, I think they'll make the playoffs. Yeah, I don't.
I think they're doing really well. They've won 3 of the last 4, I think.
Yeah, they're not gonna drop out. I don't see Dallas or Austin being a playoff team. I see Minnesota being more of a playoff team than them, but I also don't really see Minnesota being a playoff team. I also see Portland moving up, and I think the matchup we're going to see is Vancouver, Minnesota in that play-in game. To face it'll be LA. Basically, are they locked in one? No, but they're going to win over the weekend and get that. The fact that Colorado is third, though,
insane,
in the form that Seattle's been, to still be below Houston and LAFC, kind of wild to look at. Same thing with the Eastern Conference table, like seeing some of those teams that are high up. It's very weird.
Yeah, it's dude. This season has been insane from just the team perspective, like the ups and downs, the swings, the highs, the lows. It's been all over the place. Daniel, how do you feel about Yeboah? What have you seen? He's been hot since the arriving. Minnesota's been a weird team. Halangwane is getting hot. St. Clair can do some things. How do you feel about Yeboah?
First of all, his goal was beautiful. Cut inside, cut into the top corner. It was lovely. He's been good. I think he's just a big upgrade over Pookie for them. He can actually move. I know Pookie can be a good finisher on his day, but Yeboah's ability to actually run down the channels and make things happen a little bit more has been really good. It's Bongi season again. Take me back to 2023 Leagues Cup when he was on
That's
fire.
what I'm talking about.
Bongi has 4 goals in his last 4 games, I think. He's not scoring great on SO5, but I love Bongi. He's fun. He runs like a madman every time they get the ball, and he'll get fed in behind a whole bunch. I do think Lod kind of changed that game a little bit for Minnesota. It was pretty much all SKC anyway, but beforehand they had no one when they won the ball back to actually keep the ball for 2 seconds to actually do something with it. So SKC were just winning the ball back, and just I don't know how SKC didn't score. I mean, Agada.
I know how.
He missed a wide open header, and then, by the way, his pen.
Well, how many BCM did Agada have? I want to get mad. Please show me.
Ooh, I think 2. One of them in the pen.
I thought it was 3.
Yeah, it's 2. And the penalty kick missed.
His pen was 6 inches from being one of the best penalties I've ever seen.
I was
the top corner.
I was texting my dad during it, and whenever we got the pen, he's like, "Who's going to be on it?" And I was like, realistically, you put Polito on it because he's been hot, and this will be an extra confidence booster going into the final. Then they put the guy who missed his 1 penalty attempt for Sporting ever in MLS, and also sent it wide. He didn't even put it on target earlier in the season. Completely scuffed it. I guess they were trying to get him to double-digit goals, which would have been cool. He'll probably still get another goal this year, so I don't know why we needed to get it to him now, especially in a game that will decide our fate in the playoffs. We also had Johnny Russell on the pitch at that time, too, who's been our penalty taker since he came to the club.
Yeah.
Very interesting choice. Vermees has made a lot of very interesting choice. I will say to this day, one of the best decisions he's made this decade was that Jake Davis moving to midfield role. I think he is incredible because he's an attacking sort of – he presses up, and he just plays as if he were an inverted right back, basically, is how he just plays, but in the midfield. And he's the hardest worker. So, yeah, we just put Mealy on pens at this point. No one's going to make a pen. You may as well just have fun with it. We'll have Thiago Volpe 2.0, 38-year-old. He'll be fine.
It would be awesome. But yeah, Minnesota's going to be an interesting team looking forward in a post-Ray No-Show world. They have flashes.
Started this weekend, finally.
Oh, wow.
He didn't no-show.
Wow. Surprising. Shocking. But yeah, it'll be interesting looking forward. Yeboah seems like he's going to be a force in the league, hopefully, with the right pieces around. Maybe next year we'll see. Speaking of next year, Toronto, one of those teams we'll definitely see next year. Yeah, rough. Another rotation game, obviously, with the Canadian Championship on the line this weekend in the Colorado Rapids. Up the fucking Pids, man. All right. Up the Pids. They are getting hot. Reggie Cannon, welcome back to MLS. getting a goal in his first game back. You love to see it. Mihailovic doing the things that he does. This Colorado team, well, I don't really see him really contending for MLS Cup. This could be a little sneaky dark horse too. They could go on a little run. They could beat some teams. They're
They're gonna have
scrappy.
home
They have
field
some
too,
fight.
which is kind of insane.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to host too, and it's obviously a tough place to play with the elevation. Are you up or down on this Colorado team, Daniel? Who people are on the fence about this team. They don't really know how they feel. But how do you feel?
I think they've got enough talent that they can make a run. And if they can get home advantage, I mean, it's a big home advantage for them. I will say the defending in this game was atrocious from both teams. They were just lucky that Toronto are terrible up top, especially without Insigne and Bernadeschi there. It's good to see Cannon back. They're slowly just collecting all the Americans that went overseas and pulling them back to them.
Yeah,
like Mihailovic, Cannon, Stefan. They'll just keep dragging them back in. Mihailovic was good again. I mean, obviously, a 90-pointer with the pen right at the end to help it all out was quite nice. Cannon's finish for his goal was lovely. Outside the box, first time, just cut it into the bottom left corner. But also, like, Toronto is one of these teams, a bit like New England when we were saying for Charlotte. You can't take, like, attacking returns too seriously against them. You get a billion chances every team does. Like, the worst attack in the league is going to get chances against Toronto. So, but Colorado are pretty good. They've got good pieces. I don't know if it's enough to, like, make a deep run, but they could get through a couple of rounds.
No, I definitely agree. And then shout out to Darren Yappy, man. It's finally having his breakout season. We've all been waiting for it. Darren Yappy is getting on the field, getting decisives. You love to see it. Alex, are you finally on the Colorado train? You've been very resistant to the Colorado train.
I've been on the Jordy Mihailovic train for, like, basically the whole season, and he's still been smashing. I think he's, like, the top 5 midfielder scoring-wise still.
Yeah.
Stefan's starting to get clean sheets, and that's dangerous because they score, like, 2 goals a game. If they're conceding 1 or less, like, they won't need as much from their attack, especially with their defense whipping into shape.
Yeah,
it's going to become a lot more dangerous to play against, especially in the altitude. Look at that record. They've only lost 2 in how many? 3 in how many? Like, that's insane.
Yeah. I mean, that Leagues Cup run was awesome. I mean, it was definitely a magical Leagues Cup run for the Raptors.
Look at that one loss recently. Let's go. But some of these wins are against good teams, like Philly, Portland, going into Leagues Cup.
America, Toluca, Juarez, Leon.
Salt Lake was kind of falling off at that point. And then pre-Hartel St. Louis. But yeah, I mean, like, they're just getting points from the games that they need to get points for. And not many teams kind of do that consistently. So that's why they're so high up the table. And so if they're going to continue on this run, dangerous team, and they'll have to watch out because they'll probably win their first round. And then they'll run into a team where they have to step it up on defense, and it seems like they're getting into that shape that they need to be.
I mean, that's a good point. I mean, they're picking up a bunch of guys that went to Europe, so their quality, right? There is something there. It just takes the right coach, the right system to unlock them. And Colorado's like, all right, bet we'll just fill in the pieces we need, and we'll build this team around Georgie, and they'll see where they're taking it. Yeah, Robin Fraser, man, we all doubted. We did all doubt, but hey, here we are. Here we are talking about doubting. Everybody doubts this man, the myth, the legend, Evander. Everybody doubts him. Phil Neville just says he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. He is hands down the best 10 in the league per Phil Neville. Some would agree. Some of the best scores in MLS, probably up there with Heck and Pooge.
He is the best scorer in the MLS, L5 and L15 wise, and I think L40 wise too. I genuinely think the Sorare community is, like, the only community that gives him the respect he deserves, because, like, everybody owns him and he smashes like 90 every game.
Yeah, someone get me in contact with Phil Neville. All right, we got to talk to him about how we were believers. Everybody on this. Daniel, do you own an Evander? And is it painful to you watch Portland be attackingly awesome? Maybe not defensively, but their attack is incredible.
I recently degened into a 4% Portland collection. I've had Evander and Moreno from the start of the season. I've now got two Evanders. I brought an Evander at the end of last season. It's great. I captain Evander pretty much every lineup I have him in because he's Evander and he just smashes. He had a kind of a bad game for him in this.
Yeah.
He still scored an absolutely beautiful free kick. And he just, I don't know what happened to him from last season to this season, second season MLS syndrome, whatever.
Yeah.
Is it David Goss talks
yeah.
about all the time?
The what is it? The David Goss
theorem.
Yeah, David Goss theorem.
Where just people are bad the first season in the MLS, they pick it up the second season. He's just incredible. Like, I don't know, he just cuts through everyone's defense. He's half the reason why the Timbers are so good offensively. Obviously, he's got good pieces around him, but I feel like if we saw the Timbers without him for a couple of games, we'd probably see it just fall off a cliff a lot of the time. I quite like a lot of the Timbers players right now, and that's kind of why I went into more of a collection for them, because their fullbacks can absolutely smash. They are very much like 100 or 10 sort of players. Like even Mosquera's been racking up AA, and I think he had a 100 or a 90 something last weekend. The weekend before, Bravo, as we know, are really good. Ayala, really good AA. I mean, he's more of a defensive mid, so you're not going to get that many of the decisive on him, but he gets good AA on him. And somehow, Rodriguez, who the first few games of the season when I saw him play was absolutely abysmally bad.
Right.
He's been brilliant since.
Pull off the bench.
But yeah, I like Portland outside of Phil Neville lying to us about Evander's fitness.
Yeah, that's rough.
For whatever week that was. Yeah. Evander, Moreno, just stack them every day.
Yeah, and it's tough for this Portland team because, like, yeah, the defense is just abysmal. They can't defend to save their lives, but they're one of those teams that they will outscore you on most days, and that's always a tough to see. But hey, for Sorare, we don't care if these teams win or lose.
Exactly.
We just want to hit the big score.
Clean sheets. It can be a 4-3 game every single game as long as Evander and Moreno smash. It's great. And talking about Colorado's defense, Portland's one of the teams they could come up against, and if Evander and Moreno have good games against them, who knows? I mean, Colorado could score like 6 against them, but you know, it's a fun game.
Goal fest. That's all we're here for. On RSL side though, Chicho Arango off the bench, Goncalves off the bench as well, finally producing for this RSL team. Alex, is there any belief that this RSL team is going to turn it around and do anything in the playoffs? Where they've been up and down too. Gavin Beaver's season ain't going great. Maybe it's just the defense. Maybe it wasn't the other guy that I can't remember his name already because it's Beaver's season. Maybe it wasn't McMath.
McMath was not the problem.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't the problem because yikes.
I will say I think Luna has whipped into top shape since I crafted him from Essence. He's averaging like a 60 something. So he's been good for me in my U23 lineups that have only 1 boxes. But I like that. And on the other side, I will say that I degened into a Santi rare. I think if anybody is looking for a rare midfielder in MLS that's like under $20, I don't see why anybody besides Santi would be someone that you pick up. Like, he extremely cheap and gets that minimum AA with the consistent decisives, especially with Portland being in that playoff spot too, getting a little utility. You know, they're a good playoff team at home. They have historically been, and they can beat anybody. They're one of those few teams that isn't one of the top ones that can beat anybody on their day.
Attack is too good, man. That attack is just too good.
But where is J-Rod? Still hurt?
He was getting a little rest. He's tired. He's an older guy. He just he doesn't need to start.
36? That's not bad.
He still comes on and scores because he's just decided he's good at soccer now.
Exactly.
I mean, he's just one of those like classic kind of forwards that just always finds the right spaces, just always in the right place at the right time. And when he gets his chances, he finishes them. And that's the problem in MLS, that a lot of people just don't finish their chances.
I will say, if you're going Moreno and you've got the extra budget to get his forward card, being able to go Evander mid, Santi forward is real nice.
Yeah.
Cover
How
that
much
full-
how much more expensive is it? Because I got my rare for like.
I couldn't
Well,
tell
now's
you.
probably a good time to
Oh
get it.
my
to be
god!
honest.
I got him for 19. His floor is 40 now.
Yeah.
Sell.
Yeah,
This
you
is
better
how you
sell
can
that
buy
mid.
the expansion.
It's double the price for a forward. So if you got $80 rare, for that and for yeah, and then forward it's like the same price. So yeah, buy the forward if you're going to go limited. 100%, it's worth paying 50
Yeah.
extra cents. So
If you can, I agree. You definitely want that forward card. Like there's good scoring mids, but it's hard to get the good scoring forwards. So if you could snag them. All right, there's 2 games left. Let's get through these dang things. Daniel, thanks so much for being here. Shout out to everybody who's been here the entire show, hanging out in the chat, doing all that fun stuff. We appreciate you. I have missed doing this. It's been way too long. It was a great time. But hey, we'll get back. We'll get back to our efficiency next show. Let's talk about this game real quick so we can end on a banger. St. Louis getting the job done again against San Jose, as we should. Abobasi, RIP. He's trying so hard, tries to keep this team in games, but it's just not enough. St. Louis, Hartel, Tucker, doing all the things. Yeah, Daniel, I'll have to ask this again. Are you as high on St. Louis as I am? Because man, I love this team. It's so good.
Yeah, St. Louis is one of those teams that I'm eyeing up a in-season collection for next year.
Don't tell everybody. You're gonna make it more expensive for us.
No, they're terrible. Don't do it.
There it is. Thank you.
Hartel does not know how to score SO5 points. He's awful. But yeah, I quite like St. Louis. The second half of the season, they've been so much better. I mean, Hartel hasn't even played well the last couple of games, and his average is still like 1,000 points. So
Insane.
They've got a lot of good pieces. Again, I mean, they've got one of the best goalies in the league. When Lervin's there, it's a lot more solid, a lot more. Everything flows a little better. I like them, but I mean, they didn't play well this game. Really, they got away with it. Rodriguez deciding just to kick somewhere in the box helped for no reason whatsoever, which got me my Hartel goal from the pen.
It does help.
That always helps, and I think they've got a good chance of being decent next year. Obviously, they're not going to do anything this year. I think they're too far back in the playoffs. I think they're miles back. They're like 11 points behind Minnesota. They've got no chance of that. But think about them for next season. And as I've been saying, if you want to play Classic next season, maybe now's a good time if you want that collection score up to go pick up some cheap guys.
That's true. Yeah.
Could be good next season, especially if you're somewhat starting out. You don't have guys from this season that are going to go Classic next year. Collection scores are becoming more and more important, so go get them whilst you can get the high collection score pretty easy from the auctions and the primary market buys.
Yeah, go get those dollar insta buys because they are probably super cheap right now.
This what I've noticed when looking at MLS collections, like 90% of the guys from every team are like 80 cents. Buy them for $1 for off auction or insta buy or whatever you want to do, and then you're going to get 30 by the time next season rolls around, 40 points, and it's all going to be good.
No, yeah, it's the prices on some of these things are just dirt cheap. Or it's like part of me wants to wait for next season, but then part of me is like, I just want to scoop it up now and play it because it's right there. But then I'm going to be stuck with all these classic cards I have to rebuy next season. And
this is my problem. I went through a week or two ago where I bought a bunch of the smashes that I didn't have, like a Messi and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't need any more classic cards. I've got so many MLS cards now. I think I've got a couple hundred MLS cards, and I just don't need any more classic cards next season. So I'm trying to withhold myself and just go in season for a few collections that start next year. But we'll see how that plays out.
But the prices are too good. But yeah, St. Louis is definitely one of those teams that I'm looking forward to in season next year. Alex, any chance you're going to degen to St. Louis City in season next year? Okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
Hartel only. Thanks.
Okay.
Next question.
That's fair. I'll take that. But yeah, shout out to St. Louis. Yeah, it's a little too late, but hey, they are showing some flashes. It's going to be great stuff. Here, Alex, I do have a question for you though. You degened into an in-season collection for the LA Galaxy this season.
I did.
So are you going to do it again next season? Because from
No,
what
'cause I
we're
already have
seeing,
one. I already have one.
yeah, but it's going to be classics. Aren't you going to want to run this team again in season? Because, whew, and that's my biggest question right now, where it's like this LA Galaxy team is cooking. They keep bringing pieces in. Marco Royce just got here.
Yeah, and he's hurt. All right.
This is a team that, like, if they stay together and just get a little stronger, specifically in the defense, maybe, wouldn't you want to run this team again in season next year? Like,
They have a bye, correct, this weekend?
Yeah.
Yep.
damn,
Yeah,
that's
so
lame.
they're probably on the top of my list of collection to get next year. Even if it's not collection, Puig, Paintsill, Peck, Joveljic, Royce, McCarthy, and
Collection.
Yamane. Just not like full. I never usually go full. I just grabbed the good guys. That's what I did. LAFC, I did buy the collection. Miami, I just bought a few pieces. LA Galaxy, I just bought a few pieces, and Columbus, I just bought a few pieces. Like I never go full degen into an entire collection, try to get the biggest bonus because I can just level them up a few times and get good enough. It never usually comes down to that percent boost to me from a reward. And so until I get a podium at some point, which I want to be like Daniel one day, I'll get a podium soon. Don't worry.
Yes, and then you'll be crying about the
Exactly.
0.4 points you lose out of about $250 for.
Exactly. I'll learn my lesson soon enough, but for now, I don't feel like spending that extra $20 to boost my cards up another 2% is quite worth it yet.
I will say the collection bonus would not have helped me in that lineup. I have all my Liverpool cards with 5% collection bonus, all my Spurs cards with 5% collection bonus. He just got me on like XP.
It really just wasn't enough.
The kicker for me was that if Allison had played instead of Kelleher, my Allison's maxed out, and his Allison was like level 12 or something. So I think I might have got him if it was Allison, not Kelleher. But oh well.
Was that predetermined that he would get benched? Do we know that? I didn't.
It was a little bit up in the air, but Slot had basically said that Allison was probably going to miss out. I actually I paid double for a in-season Kelleher, so I could have two Liverpool defensive lineups play that game week. I think I paid like 30 something bucks, and it was like $12 or something before. Allison got a bit injured, but it paid off. So
yeah, and he that's probably going to be a pattern where they, for the Champions League, they're just going to play Kelleher the next game after, just to give him a little rest.
I think I think Champions League and Prem is going to be Allison. Just straight, really? Yeah. I can't see him benching Allison unless there's an injury worry.
I guess that's true.
Allison missed because he hurt his like lat or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that.
Problem. But all the like domestic cup games, the FA Cup, the League Cup, is going to be Kelleher. But also, I'm pretty sure Kelleher is going to leave at the end of the season, considering we signed Mamadashvili.
Yep.
And loaned him back to Valencia. So Kelleher might eventually go and play some first-team football somewhere and actually get to play some reasonable amount of games. But
he'll end up at Chelsea, let's be honest.
Why not like 6 starting keepers in your collection anyway? So
let's go.
I actually, part of my winnings, I just brought a Jorgensen. Chelsea, because I have Sanchez already, because I do have some Chelsea players because I wanted to boost up my Cole Palmer.
Smart.
That's cool.
You like rewards.
Do you think there's any chance of Reece James ever playing a game of football?
Nope. Well,
he'll play.
He'll get 3 elite ones a year, so it's just when will those be?
I brought him and Gusto because I know they're both
injured right now. Too, right?
Yeah, he's injured right now as well, but he's pretty good when he plays SO5 wise. So I was sort of hoping for that, and hopefully some formation of attackers that are actually going to start forms so I can go buy them, because at the moment it's a bit of a shit show about
Nicholas Jackson season.
Jackson's been so good, they're not going to bench him.
Nicholas Jackson season. This is
Nicholas Jackson hype on FPL right now, and I don't.
Too expensive. Too expensive
for somebody that misses that many chances.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
That's what we're here for.
This is the front three right there.
The emotion.
You see, I set myself a rule ever since Haaland's got in the league that I am not buying Erling Haaland. I've never owned Erling Haaland on FPL. And yes, it screws me up on my scores, but it's more fun that way. I'm going to have Salah and Trent anyway, so I can
I guess
spend my
that's
money.
true. Here's my DGen basic FPL team with the
Okay.
midfielders.
I mean, Gabriel's been killing it.
You know you're 2 hours in when the FPL comes out.
Raya's got good fixtures, and he's been doing good. That's good.
Yeah. I mean,
and
Arsenal
then-
going forward is going to be sick. I'm bringing Saka in, so because they got like 3 great fixtures in a row.
yeah, but I
he's
can't
back-
drop Palmer. I can't drop Palmer. So
Yeah, I think I've got Palmer right now, but I think I'm going to transfer him to Saka. I will say back on Sorare, we'll say at the start of the stream when we're talking about Miami, who could like take him down, and we talked about LA Galaxy. Jordi Alba's basically a left winger. Gabriel Peck is going to have a field day running at that empty space, and he's got Puig and Royce feeding him. I like Galaxy. They're at the moment my favorites to win the cup. So
It's like you read my mind, because that was the question that I was going to send to you before we close this off. Is like, do you think the LA Galaxy can score their way to MLS Cup? Because obviously defensively, like, man, they can get cooked on defense. Like, they will concede goals, but Jovic, Peck, Paintsill, Puig, Royce, whatever off the bench starting, whoever it is, like, this team is lethal, and they are making it look easy.
I don't know what defense is going to stop them. Like, obviously, some of the guys could have a bad finishing game and they could maybe only get 1 or 2 goals, but they create so many chances. I don't think the MLS need a rule where you're not allowed to have Puig and Royce feeding Paintsill and Peck. Like, that shouldn't be allowed. Cheat code. Like, and like I don't even rate Jovic that highly. He has some
Really
good. I don't know. He's decent. I don't know. I think they could get a better striker in there.
I think this team has looked better since he came back, to be honest.
It functions much better than having Miguel Berry or whoever the hell comes in.
Paintsill was playing at the 9, yeah.
It just balanced a bit more having Paintsill back out that side, but I think they could do with a better striker than Jovic long term.
No.
You want to know something?
What?
As much as I love the Galaxy, I think if they match up with Seattle, I think Seattle wins that series.
Wow.
Because
as long as Seattle doesn't play LAFC, we might have a chance.
Exactly. Yeah. If they meet,
unless it's the final, unless it's the conference final.
Maybe it's El Trafico in the conference semifinals.
That'd be fun.
And then winner plays Seattle. Seattle's already beat them multiple times this year. They've showed that they kind of have their number, and they've been healthy in those games. It really just depends on what Seattle goes in, because their defense is so slow. LA Galaxy's defense is so slow. You can feed balls through to JMO. Rothrock's been on fire. I think they're the one team that I would like. If someone told me, who do you think's going to win? I'd be like, Seattle. Like, that's the one team that I could say would beat them. But everybody else
out
in
of
the West,
huh?
I think it's one of those 2 teams that comes out, and then we'll play Miami. Like, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
As much as we hate it, that's what's going to happen.
Paul Rothrock has stolen my heart. He's wonderful.
Yeah.
He basically thinks he's Ronaldinho. The amount of skill moves he tries, the moment a few weeks ago where he faked to step over take the ball with his left foot to go past the guy stepped, his foot goes over it, he flicks it through the guy's legs with his right foot, but like almost it was just beautiful. And he just runs at people and he has a good time. And De La Vega's back, even though he sucks on So Rare compared to what I was hoping for at the start of the season, and I paid way too much money for his card. But yeah, and also another way that Seattle can beat the Galaxy is that the Galaxy suck at defending corners. And Jackson Reagan is massive.
Yeah. I think he has the most goals off corners, right? Directly off corners this year.
I was saying earlier to Jorge on in Discord that I need to get my head around actually prioritizing Jackson Reagan in my Seattle lineups. I love fullbacks. I'm a big fullback person because overall, most of the time, they get more attacking returns. But Jackson Reagan just gets so many decisives for a centre back. And being a centre back in a pretty defensively solid team, he gets good AA. So
exactly.
Fry, Reagan.
I've ran out Yamar all year, and I've never had anything bad to say. I still think that he's really good.
Wonderful. He's just such an AA monster, and he's been doing really well recently.
Because I as much as this is weird, and I hate to say it, like I think the stack for Seattle is Fry, Reagan, Rusnak, Morris, Yamar. Like, I don't think you throw in a Roldan, because you could throw in a Rothrock, but like those guys don't get consistent decisives, and if they get a clean sheet, you're getting a 70 from the center backs. You're getting 70 each.
The best Seattle stack is Fry, Reagan, Rusnak, and then two of Puig and Peck, Evander, Moreno, Kucher, Rossi.
That works.
It is not running a full Seattle stack.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, Obed Vargas has been good this season.
Yeah.
He's been a lot of fun. Especially recently, he's gotten a little bit higher decisives to back it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. It is very hard. And then I know Mike Basson gave me shit on a show the other day where he was like, "You remember when you told me to sell my Jordan Moores and find another striker?" I was like, "Yeah, because this is like historically the best season he's ever had. Like, this is such an outlier season. Like, it's wild, the production that he's had this season."
Yeah. But like,
go ahead.
Yeah. Overall, in Sorare, I'm just not a full stack person. Like, I'll rarely even do a 4-man stack. I do like either a 2-2-1 split or a 2-3 split on teams. Most of the time, teams just on the same game week, it's really hard to get 5 guys off on the same team who score really well. I think it's a good option if you're on a lower budget and you can just afford one team and stack them. If it goes off, you'll get a decent reward. But if you want to like podium and stuff, I think you need to get the guys who can, the 2 guys on each team that just go off.
Right. The DPs.
I started doing that halfway during the season, and I've won a lot more rewards. The only stack that I keep is Sporting, just in case. I would not sleep at night if Sporting, all of them smashed and I didn't have the full stack and won something.
Yeah.
I do the exact same thing with Coventry. I run a Coventry stack every week in Challenger in my Challenger D2 lineup, and it almost never does anything good for me. But one week it will, and I'm going to be really happy about that.
Yeah, that's what I do. Challenger in season Div 4, never moved up, never moved down. Just keep them there.
Let's go.
I will say I'm prioritizing trying to get my teams up the divisions. Like, those boxes in the top divisions are really nice, especially the in-season ones. Like, it's just like the worst you can get is 10 essence.
Oh yeah,
from a 5-star in-season box, and the best thing you can probably get is however much market credit you can get from it, of which allows me to degen into other things.
Yeah, and we love degen, and I will say that like winning. And people don't talk about it enough, or at least I don't see people talk about it enough, is winning 20 essence straight from a box. Like, that feels good, because you're like, oh, it's a rip. You get to have a card on the way. It might not be a good card, but it is a card. And no, I agree. The boxes are great, man. Boxes are great. Y'all are wrong. Red or Dead, though, running the Seattle defensive stack with Rusnak and then Buanga Bogush, but hasn't worked out. Yeah, LAFC's been a little weird, but in theory, hey, those first couple games of the playoffs, they could hit, man. They're all going to start. They have a lot to prove. Those are the games you want them. So hasn't hit yet. But
exactly.
That is a stack that I would definitely run as well. So you are not far off, Red or Dead. You are not far off.
The stack will be Lloris, Hollingshead, Puig, Peck, Messi. That's what it's going to have to be for me, at least. That's what I'm going to run. Because LAFC will face someone garbage and they'll get that clean sheet at home.
And Hollingshead's like $1.50 right now.
And once the playoffs hits, he's going to be a guaranteed starter.
I'll say Hollingshead is a big game player. In those big games, he will step up.
And also, Lloris is the type of goalkeeper that can just stand on his own head in a game and just save everything that comes at him. Like, if they do go up against good defense, I wouldn't be that surprised if Lloris somehow comes out with like 8 saves absolutely
And an
smashed
assist to Buonga.
somehow. Yeah, just boot the ball on to Wong.
And the long ball to Buonga. But it'll be interesting. It's going to be a fun couple of weeks leading into the playoffs, and then we're going to have some crazy chaos in the playoffs. Hopefully, So Rare doesn't ruin our lives with these special weeklies like they did Leagues Cup. The first round will be okay, but after that, things are going to get a little spicy. So I can't wait to play the MLS Cup final in a Cap 220. Can't wait for that to be a thing.
Yep.
Dang it. Daniel, oh yeah, dude, Red or Dead, Hollingshead helped him win Cap 270 last year. I am very particular with Hollingshead all day. But Daniel, thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for taking 2 hours of your time to come hang out with us. The door is always open. Getting you to talk MLS, degen into some things. Really appreciate you for your time. So anytime you want to come back, you're always welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was fun. I'm sure I'll come back at some point. Talk some MLS. I'll definitely come back whenever, like the couple of days after Seattle's just smashed.
Yes, yeah.
If we get booted out of the playoffs in a terrible performance, you might not see me that week. I'll be burying my head in the sand. But yeah, whenever you want someone extra, give me a little heads up. Tuesday, Wednesdays work, and I work early in the morning, so
Nice.
I'm normally home by like 2 p.m. So
Yo, me too, man. I am an early bird gets the worm kind of guy. So hey, we'll make it happen if Alex decides to keep showing up.
I'm telling you, my master plan is a decision day stream with one fan of every team on the stream, 30-person stream.
that'll be fun.
Well, we better get to work, man, because that sounds like a logistical nightmare. But I'm looking forward to it. Shout out to anybody who's hanging out in the chat, anybody who watches this afterwards, anybody who watches Campeones Cup, looks at the MLS. Enjoy. There are 3 trophies coming to the MLS at some point this week, tomorrow night. Enjoy that. We'll see you at the weekend and all that fun stuff. Thanks for everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.